Do you know, according to the Death Penalty Information Center, at least 200 individuals have been wrongly convicted and sentenced to death since 1973. But is this all? Definitely not. Watch till the end to know the thought-provoking facts about the death penalty and the case of Marcellus Khalifah. Who was Marcellus Williams? Williams, an African-American man, was deeply committed to his Muslim faith, serving as an imam for fellow inmates and expressing himself through poetry, according to his legal representatives. During his 23 years in prison, Williams dedicated much of his time to studying Islam and crafting poetry, as noted by the Innocence Project, a non-profit organization that advocates for individuals it believes have been wrongfully convicted. He also took on the role of Imam for Muslim prisoners at Potosi Correctional Center, where he was known as Khalifah, meaning leader in Arabic. What was Williams accused of? In 2001, Marcellus Williams was found guilty of the murder of Felicia Gale, a former journalist and social worker who was fatally stabbed in her home in 1998. During the trial, prosecutors argued that on August 11, 1998, Williams broke into Gale's house, discovered she was home, and grabbed a large butcher knife. When Gale came downstairs, Williams allegedly attacked, stabbing her 43 times, and then stole her purse and her husband's laptop. Authorities claimed that Williams wore a jacket on that day to conceal the blood on his shirt. His girlfriend reportedly questioned why he would wear a jacket in the heat, and later noticed the stolen items, a purse and laptop, in his car. Williams then sold the laptop shortly afterward. Prosecutors also presented the testimony of Henry Cole, who had shared a jail cell with Williams in 1999, while Williams was incarcerated for an armed robbery. Cole alleged that Williams confessed to the murder and provided detailed information about the crime. The investigation, arrest of Marcellus Williams. 2 years after the murder, Marcellus Williams was arrested and charged with the crime in 2000. Prosecution's case. The prosecution's case was built primarily on circumstantial evidence and the testimony of 2 informants. Henry Cole, a former cellmate of Williams, who testified that Williams had confessed to the murder while they were in jail together. Laura Asaro, Williams' girlfriend at the time, who also testified against him, claiming that he had confessed to her. Motive. Prosecutors argued that the motive for the crime was robbery, as some of Gale's possessions were missing. They linked Williams to items that were later pawned, supposedly stolen from Gale's home. In 2001, Marcellus Williams was convicted of first-degree murder. The jury recommended the death penalty, which the judge upheld. Williams's defense team has long argued that the trial was flawed. No physical evidence tied Williams to the crime scene. No fingerprints, no blood, and no DNA matching Williams were found at Gale's home. The witness testimony from both Henry Cole and Laura Asaro was questionable. Cole was reportedly a jailhouse informant who received favors for his testimony. Asaro was also facing legal trouble and had her own credibility issues. The most significant development in this case came years after the conviction, with the emergence of new DNA testing technology. Williams's defense team pushed for new DNA tests on a knife that was found at the crime scene and other items. These tests were conducted in 2015, and the results were crucial. The DNA found on the knife did not match Marcellus Williams. The DNA profile belonged to an unknown male. This raised serious questions about whether Williams was the actual perpetrator or if someone else had committed the crime. Despite this new evidence, the courts did not immediately overturn the conviction, leading to increased public scrutiny. Williams' defense attorneys contended that no forensic evidence linked him to the crime scene, and they raised concerns about mishandling of the murder weapon, calling into question the reliability of the DNA results. DNA tests revealed that genetic material found on the knife came from individuals in the prosecutor's office who had reportedly handled the weapon without wearing gloves after the initial crime lab analysis. According to a report from the Associated Press, the defense also argued that both Williams's girlfriend and Henry Cole, who testified against him, had prior felony convictions and may have been motivated by a $10,000 reward. Additionally, other pieces of evidence, such as a bloody shoe print and hair recovered from the crime scene, did not match Williams. The story intensified in August 2017, when Williams's execution was just hours away. Williams was scheduled for execution on August 22, 2017. However, with the new DNA evidence casting doubt on his guilt, Missouri Governor Eric Greitens issued a last-minute stay of execution. Greitens created a board of inquiry to further investigate the case and the DNA evidence. This move temporarily spared Williams's life, but did not resolve the case. The case attracted national attention, with civil rights groups, activists, and legal scholars arguing that executing Williams without thoroughly examining the new evidence would be a grave miscarriage of justice. Over the years, Williams was spared from executions in 2015 and 2017, but this did not result in his conviction being overturned. Despite all these loopholes in DNA testing, the family of the woman he allegedly murdered agreed to his life imprisonment. The state of Missouri carried out the execution of Marcellus Williams on Tuesday after the U.S. Supreme Court denied a request to postpone the execution. According to the state's Department of Corrections, he was declared dead at 6:10 p.m. Central Time. Williams, who had consistently asserted his innocence in the 1998 stabbing of Felicia Gale in a suburb of St. Louis, was executed by lethal injection. Williams' last moments were marked by a somber routine. Officials reported that Williams's last meal consisted of chicken wings and tater tots. He spent his final hours with Imam Jalahi Kachem, whom he had followed, during a visit from approximately 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. GMT. Around 10:50 p.m. GMT, witnesses, including Williams' son and two of his attorneys, were led to the prison's observation area, according to Karen Poyman, spokesperson for the Missouri Department of Corrections. No representatives from Felicia Gale's family were in attendance. At 11 p.m. GMT, Attorney General Andrew Bailey notified the Department of Corrections that there were no remaining legal obstacles to proceed with the execution. The lethal injection was administered at 11:01 p.m. GMT. A report from the Associated Press described Williams moving his feet slightly under a white sheet, with his head turning slightly. His chest rose and fell about 6 times before he stopped moving entirely. His final statement was, "All praise be to Allah in every situation." The execution of Marcellus Williams sparked a myriad of reactions. Eric Johnson, the president of the NAACP, stated that Missouri had taken the life of another innocent black man. Congresswoman Cori Bush from Missouri criticized the state's decision, saying it had failed Marcellus Williams. She added, "It is our moral responsibility to end this cruel and racist practice." Attorney Bell commented, "Marcellus Williams deserved to live." Justice was not served. Bushnell, Williams's lawyer from the Midwest Innocence Project, highlighted his thought-provoking poetry and his dedication to both his family and community, describing him as a compassionate and reflective individual who spent his final years offering support to those around him as an imam. She continued, "Even though he longed to be free, he focused on moving past the anger and fear associated with being wrongfully sentenced, dedicating himself to his faith and finding solace in Islam. The world is poorer without him." Williams' public defenders remarked that the governor had completely disregarded the wishes of the victim's family. In a joint statement, they said, "Khalifah was a source of inspiration. We strive to match his level of faith, his integrity, and his unwavering commitment to those he loved." Michelle Smith, co-director of Missourians for the Abolition of the Death Penalty, who viewed Williams as a mentor, expressed before his execution that she hoped his case would help shed light on the failure of capital punishment as a just solution. Some facts about the death penalty provide a broader context to this discussion. According to the Death Penalty Information Center, 23 individuals were executed in the U.S. during 2023, while 21 new death sentences were handed down. As of July 1st, 2024, there are 2,216 inmates on death row across the country. Since the U.S. Supreme Court reinstated capital punishment in 1976, 1,594 executions have taken place, with the latest figures from August 15th, 2024. There have been 200 exonerations of death row prisoners since 1973, with 30 of those cases originating in Florida. A Pew Research Center survey conducted between April 5th and 11th, 2021, shows that public support for the death penalty has remained steady between 60 and 65% since 2019. In the survey, 60% of respondents favored capital punishment for murder convictions, while 78% acknowledged the risk of executing innocent individuals. According to the Death Penalty Information Center, at least 200 individuals have been wrongly convicted and sentenced to death since 1973. According to our research, the death penalty is a complicated topic and should be carefully handled. What do you think? Was justice served? Let us know in the comments below. Make the background music emotional.